Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Democracy Report. Today is April 30th, 2025. It is 101 days into the Trump administration, and the second Trump administration, I should say. And I wanted to take a little bit of time to go over a few clips that attempt to show the incompetency and pure idiocracy of the Trump administration after 100 days. I hope these kind of, maybe you might find some of these things just unbelievable to see. I know a few of these I was pretty taken back by, especially one that we just got overnight. And it's crazy stuff, man. But, before we get started with all this, please like and subscribe if you enjoy the show. And please leave a comment below if you think there should be something that I should be doing different or, whatever. And again, if you have the ticker at the bottom, you can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/the Daily Democracy Report, or you can click the QR code down at the bottom left of the screen. So thanks for tuning in. We'll get right into it. This is the first clip I want to play, displaying the complete incompetency and idiocracy and just pure stupidity of the president of the United States, Donald Trump. Is, in this clip, Trump doesn't even realize that the characters MS-13 on Abrego Garcia's tattooed knuckles are photoshopped in an attempt to describe the actual tattoos, or attempt to make a connection between MS-13 and the tattoos that he has on his knuckles. Apparently, Trump doesn't know that this was like a photoshopped picture of his knuckles, and it's kind of crazy that he doesn't know this, right? And I am going to try to bring up. So yeah, let me just show if I can make this picture full screen here. Yeah, here we go. So let me show this picture really fast, because this is the picture we're talking about here. This is the one that Trump held up, and I just want you guys to take a note of. Let me try to blow this up a little bit. No, I can't. Okay. So you can see the tattoos. There's a marijuana leaf for M. There's a smiley face for S. The cross there is supposed to be a 1, and the skull is a 3 for some reason. I'm not sure I understand what that reference is. But anyway, this is their Justice Department's attempt, I guess, basically to say that this is... And they put they basically kind of photoshopped the letter, or, the characters in here that they're saying that represents, this is an M and S 1, 3. These aren't really on Abrego Garcia's knuckles, okay? This M, S 1, 3 are not really there. This was put on that picture so they could show that was the symbolism that they were trying to get across. Okay, everybody understands that, right? It's not too hard to figure that out. That's what that was. Okay, so now let's go to what President Trump, during his interview on ABC News. This was an exclusive interview. This was yesterday or yesterday evening. And this is what Trump has to say about it. This is mind-blowing shit. This guy is a fucking moron. And he's our president. Here we go.
When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over that.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry. Hey, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
All right, we'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it was
disagree.
Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had.
So this guy is trying to give Trump an out. I wouldn't give him an out. I would say, look, man, are you that fucking stupid? You didn't even realize that they put the symbols on the picture, or the characters on the picture, so they could show the symbolization there and what they think they mean. He is just so fucking stupid.
MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but they're there
in
now.
your picture.
Terry.
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
We'll take a look at that.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested.
All right, so that's the end of the video, really. There's more to that whole interview that just shows the incompetency and the stupidity of Donald Trump. But that is shocking. That is absolutely shocking. Unbelievably shocking. This is the president of the United States. I mean, he doesn't even know what the hell. I mean, it's. I don't even know what else to say about that one. But there you go. That's the guy that Americans voted into office in the United States. Crazy. Let's move on. Second clip I want to talk about features Pete Hegseth. Another complete moron and somebody who is way over their head in their job, has no business being, the Secretary of Defense, the guy who's in charge of the largest and most lethal military force in the world, and he has no idea what the hell he's doing. So we're going to play this clip. Hegseth is ending the Women, Peace, and Security Program. This was signed into law by President Trump. It was supported by Kristi Noem, who co-authored it or authored it, and Marco Rubio, who just talked about it during his time right now as Secretary of State. And so we're going to play this clip for you. Just complete moronic incompetence, but, not even aware of what they're really cutting and why.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced he ended the department's Women, Peace, and Security program. Hegseth posted on social media, quote, "WPS is yet another woke, divisive, social justice Biden initiative that overburdens our commanders and troops, distracting from our core task, warfighting." Congress passed the Women, Peace, and Security Act in 2017 with support from the Trump administration, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio praised the legislation a month before Hegseth's cancellation.
President Trump also signed the Women, Peace, and Security Act, a bill that I was very proud to have been a co-sponsor of when I was in the Senate. And it was the first comprehensive law passed in any country in the world, first law passed by any country anywhere in the world, focused on protecting women and promoting their participation in society.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem wrote the bill in 2017 when she was a representative from South Dakota. President Donald Trump signed the bill into law during his first term, and 2 years later, his administration released its strategy on women, peace, and security in 2019. Hegseth made a follow-up post accusing the Biden administration of ruining the program. He is focused on reshaping the military away from the previous administration's efforts toward diversity, equity, and inclusion. The secretary has standardized the requirements for service regardless of gender, and has attempted to bar transgender people from enlisting and kick out those already in the military.
So there you go. That was from the Washington Examiner. Yeah, you can't really make stuff up like this. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just a little bit ago, you had Marco Rubio praising the program. 2 minutes later, Hegseth's like axing it, saying it's some woke program from the Biden administration or something. Yeah, okay, whatever. So now I want to switch gears again. So now we're going to talk about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is the Department of Health and Human Services boss. He is, so, you know, in this first one, he's talking about cuts made to HHS, and he has absolutely no idea. The next couple clips are going to feature Mr. RFK Jr. here. This one's pretty good, so let's start this one off. This is all from the Rachel Maddow show, by the way. So let's play this first clip.
You proposed more than $11 billion in cuts to local and state programs addressing things like infectious disease, mental health, addiction, and childhood vaccination. Did you personally approve those cuts?
I'm not familiar with those cuts. I mean, we'd have to go. We'd have to go.
There's like more than 50 pages of, of cuts that I actually went through.
The cuts were mainly DEI cuts, which the president
There were a lot, but I'll give you, for example, about $750,000 of a University of Michigan grant into adolescent diabetes. You know that?
Oh, sorry about that.
I didn't know that, and that's something that we'll look at.
I'm not familiar with those cuts. I'm not familiar with those cuts. Those cuts are mainly DEI cuts. We cut infectious disease and mental health and addiction. That sounds like a terrible idea. We cut adolescent diabetes stuff? Well, that's something that we'll look at. I thought these were all DEI cuts. How is it possible you have this job? But while Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. claims to know nothing about the massive cuts he has made at the various agencies he runs, or maybe it wasn't him. Hey, if it wasn't you, who did them?
There you go. Who did do those? So yeah, sorry, I cut off there. I hit the wrong button on my thing, but you get the idea. A lot of cuts being made to HHS. He has no idea what the heck's being cut. He's, I mean, it just shows a little bit of the incompetence here by RFK Jr. But we're going to go a little deeper. This next clip, we're talking about measles and the outbreak of measles. And this is a doctor who's treating patients who's endorsed by RFK Jr. and a group of people who are like vaccine deniers. And, that, of course, RFK is regardless of what he says, he may change his tune here or there every once in a while, but, he's not a big fan of vaccines. But this is it's a pretty amazing video. So let me show this to you. This is featuring this doctor who RFK Jr. supports treating patients while having the measles. It doesn't get any better. I mean, you can't make this shit up, really.
So I know I've just said the word measles a lot, but just focus in on this for a second. What I'm saying here is actually what you think you heard. This is a doctor who advises against the measles vaccine and who is promoting these quack treatments. There is no treatment for measles, right? There's supportive care so that you hopefully don't die from it, but there's no cure for measles. Antibiotics and steroids aren't a cure for measles. But he's saying they're not promoting vaccination, instead promoting these quack treatments. And he is treating patients in this largely unvaccinated community in Texas, and he is doing so while he himself has the measles. Activists from RFK Jr.'s anti-vaccine group, the one that he founded, went to this doctor's makeshift clinic in the middle of this measles outbreak, and standing there in his clinic where he was seeing patients and their families, he told them on camera that he himself was in the midst of a measles infection.
How are you feeling touching measles yourself?
Yeah, I was pretty achy yesterday.
Yeah. Did you ever not have measles as a child?
No, I had MMR as a kid.
How many MMRs did you have?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't
But
know.
a few.
Yeah.
That doesn't work then, does it?
No, apparently not. It must wear off.
But you're feeling all right?
Today I'm better, yeah.
With just spots here or on your body as well?
Just my face. Yeah. They came yesterday afternoon. I was achy. Friday afternoon, achy. Started, and yesterday was pretty achy, little mild fever. Spots came in the afternoon. Today I woke up feeling good. So, mild case.
You're an amazing human being, you know that? You should know that. Thank God for you.
I know. Oh my
We don't want to
God.
keep you up with your people.
I'm just doing what any doctor should be doing.
Just doing what any doctor should be doing. Again, that's a video from RFK Jr.'s anti-vaccine.
That's kind of crazy. So, measles, it's like a couple days that you show symptoms, like that you have the spots and things like that, that you're showing symptoms. There's like a couple days there that you're very infectious. So, if he said he was just feeling ill the day before and now he's gotten spots on him, he's infectious during that interview. He's treating children that are largely unvaccinated children and probably passing that. And this is something that our head of the Department of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., is endorsing. Some unverified treatments and praying doesn't stop measles. Vaccinations stop measles. That's what works. None of this other shit works. Prayers do not work. All right. Let's continue with RFK Jr. because there's no end to his stupidity. This one here is saying that he's going to get autism under control here in a few weeks. Okay. Let's hear what RFK has to say. Again, this is Rachel Maddow reporting this. So let's take a look at this one.
And now, at an all-for-show cabinet meeting in the White House this week, RFK told the cameras and told President Trump that he's going to announce to the nation the cause of autism by September of this year. Now that he's pushed out the vaccine expert and gotten access to the vaccine safety database, and put an anti-vaccine crank in charge of the quote-unquote study he's going to do on the totally repeatedly debunked supposed link between vaccines and autism. I wonder what he's going to say causes autism. As for Kennedy's claim that he is going to have this whole autism thing sorted out in just a few months, the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network says in a statement that it, quote, demonstrates his disregard for scientific studies as, quote, real science does not move at that speed. They add, quote, when top officials spread misinformation about autism, autistic people suffer. As for the people...
Yeah. So so RFK Jr. is going to announce that the cause of autism is vaccines. That's the only plausible thing that he could possibly say as a vaccine skeptic and as somebody who's going to try to, tackle autism in one fell swoop by making everybody in America sick. Because what are you going to do then? Are you going to use that as a springboard to maybe ban vaccines in the United States? Or maybe just vaccines that you think are causing autism, which is not based on scientific fact? Now, don't get me wrong. If it is based on scientific fact, if there's studies and there's scientific evidence that shows that certain vaccines may cause this or do cause this, then by all means, we need to fix that. There's absolutely zero evidence of that. So I guess we'll just take RFK Jr.'s highly advanced, worm brain as an answer. And yeah. So that's RFK Jr. So we've gone over, so far the President of the United States, Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr. There's many more. Okay. I'm stopping there only because, we don't want to go all day, but we probably could. But, we didn't even talk about Kristi Noem and all the rest of the whack jobs that are in this administration, only because of their undying loyalty to Donald Trump, not because they're competent in their jobs or they're experts in their field. No, 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 no. It's only because they're absolutely loyal to Donald Trump and will do his bidding. It's the only reason these people are there. But, okay, so talked about all this. So let's talk about everything in a whole here. How's the economy doing? What's happening today as far as, these tariffs have got to be working, right? All the stuff that Trump's been doing to make our economy better, that, that they're saying that, under Biden, Trump took the, took us from 9.1% inflation down to, 2.4% or whatever it is today. That's not exactly true. It was lower when Trump came into office. It's actually gone up a little bit, like I think 0.17%, maybe something like that, since Trump took office. So it's actually increased a little bit since he's been there. It's at least consumers, at least that part of inflation has. So anyway, let's take a look at what the rest of the economy looks like. Looks like we've got the GDP numbers are in. See how we're doing. Here we go.
We do have some bad news in the overall numbers, certainly, with GDP contracting. I think it makes the Fed's job a little easier because this report is so distorted by tariffs that there's no point in doing anything. GDP contracting by 0.3. But because of the distortions, what you want to look at is real final sales to see where the country really is, consumers really are, and businesses really are, and they were up 2.3%. Not a lot of help from the consumer side, up only 1.8% after a 4% gain in the fourth quarter. Consumers definitely pulling back. But look at business investment, up 9.8%. And if you go drill into that, 22.5% was equipment purchases, and probably most of that came from imports as people tried to run ahead of the tariffs being put on. Inventories, we were wondering about that because of all these imports. They hadn't shown up. They have shown up now, $140 billion. In the fourth quarter, they were $8.9 billion. So inventories alone added 2.25 percentage points to the overall GDP, whereas the number that we got from exports subtracted 1.25. So even with all that, we get a contraction. Federal government spending, I want to point out, did fall during the month. So it wasn't the government's contribution. And along those lines, we got the employment cost index. Wages and salaries for civilian workers up 0.8, but wages and salaries for government workers down by 0.2. That, I'm sure, reflects the Doge cuts that are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not great numbers. And you could see that number of all the inventory spending. So that's indirect. I mean, people waiting on tariffs to kick in. Let's get all of our imports in. Let's import everything we possibly can before tariffs kick in. That's where all that spending came from. So yeah, it's not good. Once these tariffs actually hit and these prices start going up and inventories start to fall, it's going to be a real disaster unless these tariffs are worked out. And as I said yesterday, is, what we had 200 some odd countries they're making deals with or have made deals with, even though there's not that many countries in the world. So I would take all of that with a grain of salt as to what is actually happening, with all these trade deals that apparently Trump is making. I wouldn't put too much stake in that. Right now, the stock market today is not doing well. It's let's see, S&P's down over 1%. The Dow's down about 0.75%. Nasdaq's down 1.5%. So nothing's doing real well today. And that's probably a direct result of this GDP growth shrinking for the first time since 2022. So we'll take it for what it is. But I just wanted to kind of highlight a lot of what's going on, the incompetency of this presidency and this administration. And, everybody at this rally that Trump had said, the next 100 days is going to be even better. how could it be better? It's like in reverse. So we'll have to see. I can't imagine it's going to get any better with these yahoos that are in control right now. So hopefully Congress steps up and does something about all this, and we get back to a little bit of normalcy for the rest of this administration. But we shall see. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in today. That's about all I had to cover for today. Please join me again tomorrow. We'll be on at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and have some more juicy stuff, I'm sure, that'll come up in the next 24 hours that I'll be able to talk about. But if you did like it, please like and subscribe, and do leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to see. And thanks again for watching today. Really do appreciate it. Until tomorrow, be good to each other, take care, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.